It's The Perfect Union, the perfect podcast for the perfect country. Brought to you by your perfect host, Hank Thompson, for you, the perfect listener. Hello, everybody. Perfect Union is the politics wing of Winners and Losers Enterprises and Apocalypse training courses. Don't forget to sign up for our upcoming class. Fucking shitty bit. I don't have one today. I just didn't. It's Friday afternoon. It's almost 4 o'clock. Fuck it. Fuck this terrible, terrible comedy. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for clicking play. I hope you enjoyed the last episode of Winners and Losers, episode 149 with Anya Cates. Check it out. Really enjoyed talking to her. So much smarter than me. I'm such an idiot. So we got some stories to talk about. I'm going to try to keep this short. As always, I'm aiming for 45 minutes. But if we keep it under 4 hours, I will be quite thrilled. No, I really do want to keep this short. Seriously, because it's 4 p.m. already on a Friday. Like most great podcasters, I wait until the very end of the week to even start. So that's good. No, but I've picked out a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about some RNC. It's way past time for that. Fires everywhere. The skies are turning the color of profit. So it's all actually really good news. You see red skies, you think that your lungs and your future is in jeopardy. That's called maximizing shareholder value, okay, fuckface? Okay, why don't you get on board with daddy's capitalism? Look what you made me do. We just had this whole system that's so fucking abusive. It's insane how Americans are so conditioned to dying for profit, to giving up things for someone else who doesn't need anything else, who never will, but they just want their little magic line to go up. They want their spreadsheet to go up. They don't want their accountant to have to not be in a country club. They want everybody to be rich who they pay to keep their own money wealthy. But you've got to do the work. Okay, all right, fine. Wow. Okay, gosh, Jesus Christ. Not even at the part where I'm doing the stories. So quarantine time here. Today is 9/11, 2020. The 20th anniversary is in 2 years. What do you get on the 20th anniversary? What is that? Airline tickets? See, I didn't even write that. That's just inappropriate comedian brain working. Wow, I'm not even at the 9/11 part of the show. We'll get there. Been busting my ass on my woodworking video. If you're watching the YouTube version, you see a little graphic that I made for the video. It's slightly modified in the final cut, but it actually makes sense in the context. But most woodworking videos don't include a cartoon man flying in an airplane. That is the worst airplane ever drawn. That's fun. So yeah, that's exciting, exciting times. Oh yeah, this is. I'm just looking at. This is just photos off my phone. That would be a good show. Just a guy who goes around and takes pictures and then just talks about them like some kind of crazed guy. This is one of the. There's two post offices within spitting distance of my house. You know, driving around distance and. Here's a spot where they removed mailboxes. They left one. So post office still has one outside. I recall 3. I never really looked that closely. It might have been 2. I think it was 3. And they just got rid of 2, all but one of them. Same with the other post office. Stopped by there the other day to send some information on a piece of paper very affordably, efficiently, and... miraculously, in a sense. I guess maybe just more of a the post office when it works is a testament to human innovation, and as it's failing now on purpose, being intentionally sabotaged, it is a testament to human depravity. Pravity? Who cares? So yeah, it's weird. It's weird to be like, oh yeah, we certainly had too many ways of sending mail. Better tighten that up now that everybody's staying home. Better make sure no one can send too much mail. I was thinking about this the other day. The post office is so ingrained in society, and it should be, as like as a circulatory system of information, like your lymph system, which is apparently how your body transmits cancer. No, I don't know. Lymph. It's like there's nodes. They get it. I had a swollen lymph node once, and I still don't know. It was like that's where all the viruses build up. I sound so stupid. Next time I have my brother on, who's a brain scientist, I'll ask him. I'll bet he knows. But the post office is so ingrained. It's such a part of the human or of the societal body that people use it to scam you. And no one ever blames the post office. I'm sure there's law cases and suits, and they actually have their own police department, apparently. The guy, fucking post office guys arrested Stephen Bannon, Donald Trump's former campaign manager and one of America's top strategists, someone that the wisdom of our beautiful people, educated and wise, smart and dumb, they chose to put into a power Trump and his cabal of psychotic proto-Nazis or neo-Nazi. I don't know what fucking prefix. Is actual a prefix? They would. We're just like Nazis, but with diabetes. That's just our modern era. But Steve Bannon, anyway, was arrested by some post office guys on a yacht. So crazy. That was 75 Macaulay Culkins ago. That's how long ago that was. How time is just traveling so quickly now. But the post office, you can scam people with the post office. It's just part of the way the society is working, is set up to work. You can send people illegal stuff. And you get in trouble if you mess with people's mail. Like, we're supposed to respect people's mail. You get a mail from someone that used to live at your house. You put it in a thing and you say, wrong guy, wrong lady. And then the mail person knows what to do with it. This makes me so angry. And I have been promising post office stuff for like weeks and weeks, but it's not just this one photo of a mailbox. I had a bunch of shit about it. But all right, let's try to keep moving here. So it's been a week or so or more, I think, since my last Perfect Union. We had the RNC. I never really did a recap. It happened at the same time as during that week when the Jacob Blake shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin occurred, and then a whole bunch of shit went down. It became a much bigger national story. It was already a substantial story just in terms of its media footprint, but then some little psychotic 17-year-old radicalized. Well, if he's a white, if you look at him with the same eyes that we look at privileged white men, he's just a young baby. He's barely a toddler, if anything. You know, white men of privilege don't turn into men until their mid-40s because they get to make mistakes all the way through up until then. I'm thinking of I can't remember it though, like where someone referred to Donald Trump Jr. when he was like 38 as a kid. Hey, he's just a kid. He's just a boy. Anyway, so 17-year-old. I see a 17-year-old. I think that's a kid. We live in a society that was completely fine with giving a 17-year-old a weapon. Although actually, I guess take that back. I don't know if any of the charges. I think one of the charges has to do with the weapon he was carrying around. But weapons, guns are so built into the culture, into the society. I don't have the videos. I didn't do it. It wasn't really planning on going into them. But there's a video of this kid, and the cops might not have known he was 17 and underage to be carrying a weapon, a Second Amendment. And the cops toss him water. They thank him for being there. he's just like, who wants to live in a society, first of all, that even has cops, that needs cops, that especially the cops, if you trace the roots back to where they came from and what they're all about. Actually, I recommend a podcast I've come into my rotation recently. I'm always kind of got one of my orifices open for new shows and stuff. I like to check out new shows. A show called Behind the Bastards with Robert Evans, and he's actually been I don't know what this guy's deal is. He's funny. He's a writer and a reporter or something, but he's funny like a comedian is funny, and it's just like, dude, what, anyway, he does these really interesting kind of historical breakdowns, and there's a series about the police. It's like a 5-part series, and it goes all the way back real far, and they were just racist paid goons to pursue slaves and pursue property. Slaves being one of the kinds of property that can run away, because this is a country built on the unbelievable crime of human trafficking and kidnapping and torture and rape. But we're the good ones. We the people, right? Anyway, Behind the Bastards. It's a good show. There's an interesting series. I appreciated the one about the police, and you just like if you just trace the American police roots, that just goes right through the KKK, right through racist institutions throughout our whole culture and our whole society, and often they were just like kind of gangs that managed to get the endorsement or the authority of the state behind them. Or at least in the early years, they were kind of regionalized and localized. So some business owners and property owners, and so naturally, of course, if you're one of, and they weren't always looked at with the kind of forced respect that the rest of us have to offer them. It was kind of a job that you sort of did reluctantly. You were called a constable. Not that there was any set protocols or whatever, but it's weird. It's really fucked up. And no other country is like this. No other country has this kind of murder and tolerates these kinds of weapons. And when you have the Second Amendment, when you have a sacred right to carry a gun, a machine designed to end life, to shred through flesh, when you have that built into your society, and the argument that rages around the Second Amendment, you kind of are endorsing violence as a way to solve problems. When you say guns are necessary, what you're sort of saying is violence is necessary. And sometimes violence is. But I want a world where it's the absolute last resort. I'm not a pacifist. You come at me, I'll fuck you up. So I got to start doing push-ups. I'm saying I'm not against imposing physically to protect yourself or someone else. I think it's crazy. And the only logical answer to a gun is another gun. And so as we're entering the world where regions are going to become even more destabilized, when the food shortages really start to hit, and the mass migrations, as we're kind of seeing now in Oregon, 500,000 people were evacuated from their homes. People are going to stop living in these areas where these fires occur. I mean, every year there's going to be bad fires in California and all over the West. Maybe eventually we'll get lucky and we'll become immune to fire, like herd immunity, but we'll just like run out of trees and run out of homes to burn. So at a certain point, the wasteland just kind of takes care of itself. I mean, I know you can't stop like little shrubs and grasses from growing and stuff, but we keep at it. We just might get there. We just might be okay when all the trees and homes are gone completely, and the ashes strewn upon the wasteland, and then we never have to download any new Fallout games because we'll all be living in one. But the Second Amendment and the violence that it is devoted to is a big part of why I think Americans are both so tolerant of pain, other people being hurt. It doesn't seem to it's natural. Of course people get hurt. Violence is how you solve problems. You got hurt, and now you can't pay for it, and now you're going to die from lack of access to health care. That's a kind of violence we don't really talk about as a violent act, but that's also the kind of pain that we ignore in this culture. But specifically the Second Amendment, I think, brings elevates violence to way further up the list of things you should do before you get to violence, like ways of solving issues, ways of mediating conflict, ways of reducing stress, ways of helping people who are in mental crises, not just the severely detectable mental illnesses that are like the ones that kind of where someone's outward behavior, but in inward behavior. I'm not even planning on talking about suicide. I think today or yesterday was National or Global Suicide Day, or so people were tweeting and talking about suicide and stuff. I've gotten a lot closer to that topic than I would ever wish anybody should. I'm not going to get into those details, but it's a good thing I don't have a gun around me. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast probably, but what the fuck, Jesus, wow, talk about a way to derail your train of thought. So we have our guns, and we have a need for security because everything feels confusing and unsafe and destabilizing. So what is a way to create a little bit of sense that you're not so scared? Well, believe in a bunch of stupid conspiracy theories. No, it's also true, but get a gun. You got a gun. What's these open carry numbnuts? These little dick goofballs that like to go to Target with a gigantic weapon dangling off their tits. What that is. These big tough guys. It's fun to, first of all, it is fun to dress up at like a ninja, like a military ninja guy. You got your car, and there's a whole industry devoted to supplying these fellers with body armor and bulletproof this, and oh, you got your combat boots, and oh, look at this knife, looks like a credit card, and you can stab your enemy. Like, there's all sorts of stuff. I was a male born in. I don't like saying I grew up conservative because it wasn't like politics was dominant, but like my dad's a conservative guy. We had toy guns. We actually had these, they were electric. They were so cool. They're like Uzis, and they were black and shaped just like a gun. They were the size of guns. There was nothing about them that said this is not a toy. And we would run around. They ran on batteries, which was like a massive innovation for us. We were used to pumping our squirt guns. And my brothers and I were running. I just remember running around our grandma's house. All three of us each had our own battery-powered Uzi, squirting water at each other. So, but I mean, and we did some paintball. And paintball is fun too, by the way. I'm not saying there shouldn't be paintball. But I grew up with guns, and as I always point out, I was given a gun for Christmas when I was 13 years old, a Remington 12 gauge for hunting, and the normalization of weaponry and the normalization of violence starts early in this culture, and it's a shortcut to people respecting you. But not respecting because you earned their respect or did something, or even just the baseline of respect that I think all humans deserve: the right to their own autonomy, the right to keep their value from their boss as much as they should be able, or as much as they can. The right to be safe and secure and have a fulfilling human life, starting from the beginning to the very end. The right to die of old age surrounded by people who love you. And hopefully your grandkids are hot. Nobody wants ugly grandkids. How annoying must that be? Oh, this guy, he's got a bunch of fucking... what the... Oh yeah, I'm trying to swear less. I swear so much. Just it's unbecoming. It's how I feel. There's a lot of F words behind most of my sentences, but they are a little gross. Not even because of YouTube monetization or anything like that. It's just like, new. I want to get new listeners, and they come across. Okay, now I'm just rambling. So the guns are a way of forcing strangers to mind their behavior. And you respect me. Not because I earned it, not because you respect my humanity, but because I might murder you. All I have to do is point this stick at you, and I am now in charge. That's a kind of respect. That's the sort of substitute respect that a lot of American men and women opt for in lieu of a society that doesn't give a shit about them. Jobs where they have no power, money that doesn't cover all their bills, so they're constantly making sacrifices on what to prioritize: food, medicine, kids' education, developing something. They're always too tired from working so much. Long commutes, breathing shitty air. This whole society is set up around finding the limit where people are not going to revolt. And they've done a great job of like pushing the boundaries. The way like astronomers develop more sensitive equipment to further detect even light that we weren't able to detect 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's like this culture does the same thing, but with emotional thresholds for tolerating your own oppression. It's like, will they really put up with us taking away all the unions in the country? Yeah, they will. Will they really put up with us calling ketchup a vegetable? That was in the Reagan era. Yeah, of course they will. Will they really? Oh, look, we can actually just train them to defend the billionaires, the people who are stealing from them. Oh, look, we can actually just not teach them anything, especially about civics or history. And if you have no history, then you have no grounding for detecting bullshit, because you can't compare modern actions that you witness that are probably being filtered through very biased media sources anyway. But you don't have a foundation to a baseline to compare that to, because you don't understand history and the cycles of these things. And I don't have a full grasp on all of it either. I'm quite ignorant. I'm intending to reconcile that, or reconcile that. Is that the right word? I want to fix that. Why? God damn! There's no way I'm going. It's 20 minutes. I'm already like 20 minutes in. But I just it strikes me watching a lot of this stuff around the Kyle Rittenhouse. That's the 17-year-old kid who went up and murdered 2 people. He was being chased. The second one after he'd already been menacing people and killed somebody. So you're supposed to attack people who murder people if they still have the gun with which they use to kill somebody. A skateboard's a pretty good weapon, by the way. I would never want to get hit by a skateboard or even a hoverboard, to be frank. What the fuck? So it's gross. I'm not going to get into all the various ways the right, oh, Jesus, sorry. Okay, sorry, hit something in the room. The fuckheads on the right that are defending this Kyle, making him a hero. They raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for him, and he killed 2 people. He's a young kid. And another life, if he goes to jail forever, he might be able to enjoy an above average amount of fan mail from conservatives. But that's another life. That's another loss of a human potential. Is even these right-wing jagoffs that get radicalized. He was born after 9/11. So there's a lot more of that coming. As the election gets closer and these militias start becoming more activated, the way the police in Oregon escort these caravans of pickup trucks. Shout out to Ford F-150, by the way, for becoming the new truck that Americans associate with terrorism. Used to be the little Toyota from the Middle East or all over the rest of the world, or Africa or something. You see these tiny little Toyotas all over the world. Pretty good car, probably. The small Toyota, beat up old Toyota truck. But nope, now it's the big old gas guzzling Ford F-150 or its bigger brothers, 250, 350, or the 450. Is there a 450? I don't know. I should ask my brothers. 2 Hank, 3 Hank, and 4. So, not at all what I was going to talk about so much. But Bob Woodward came out with a new book. It's got everybody in a tizzy. We're not going to get into a lot of details here. I'm showing on screen that it was trending. The word Woodward. This happens probably every time, but some misspelling will become trending, and it's Bob Woodward. There's no W. There's no second W on the screen. Ha ha! Got him. Good content, Hank. But this was the revelations that Trump knew how bad the virus was in early February or possibly January, I think. And it said that he always played it down, that he intentionally was lying. He knew he was lying. And like this evidence in what should be his trial at The Hague. But it's just it does seem to have broken through with a little more force. Like I was once sitting there at a window. I was a kid. And all of a sudden, I see this bird flying kind of right at me. And the stupid bird hits the window. Drops down a few feet, catches itself in the air, and flies off. Didn't kill it. See? It's a happy story. It's the same plot of Air Bud. Air Bud was going in for a dunk and got his nose caught, got some teeth hooked up onto the net, and then he's still hanging from that same hoop. They just come by and they feed him with a snorkel full of mashed up beans. The bird. What happened with the Bob Woodward thing would be if the bird punctured the window and its head poked through. Maybe it didn't break the window; it just popped through. Meaning it penetrated the force field that usually keeps this shit at bay and prevents anything from sticking. That, in addition to last week's cycle about Trump calling the dead American Marines losers and suckers and all the stuff he said about that, and it revived a lot of the stuff that he said about John McCain, saying John McCain was a loser. And he still has support among military types, but I think that did seem to piss off. I mean, if you go after one of America's most treasured assets. It's the fake belief that we care about the troops. Nothing could be further from the fucking truth. People mean it. They're not faking it. But the lived experience, it belies any of that feeling. I'm not trying to say that the men and women who carry this pride and carry this feeling of like, how dare you? We are the greatest country, and the troops, and I went to war and I sacrificed. And yes, you had a noble impulse exploited by the defense industry and the politicians who serve that industry, who want to maintain conflict throughout the world. So it's not to say that those people are wrong or that they don't have a right to be upset or whatever. I'm not trying to remove any of that, but 20-something veterans kill themselves every day. While you're listening to this podcast, a veteran will commit suicide. Many more die of overdoses. There are homeless veterans throughout the country. Healthcare access, sometimes it's okay, but the VA is run by a bunch of... I'm not sure if this is still true. I should confirm it. But the Trump appointed a bunch of like Mar-a-Lago lackeys, just people who have no experience at all, put them in charge of the VA. I'm sure there's some grift going on there. And just being sent off to foreign lands in order to maintain America's colonial and past, I suppose, empire. Are we still colonial, I guess? I mean, there's probably colonial... the moon. I mean, we're going after the moon and Mars. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that word shakes out, but we're an empire. We want to make sure that our corporations have access to cheap labor and pliable governments so we can abuse those people without having to spend any money and ship it back to Americans so that we can continue to add to the gigantic piles of plastic and packaging that are building up all over the world. So, it's gross, but you go after the troops. And that is a familiar... defending the honor of the troops. Now, we don't defend their lives. We don't defend their post-war experience, PTSD and psychological issues, and the way that we brutalize these young men and women during the for-profit military escapades that our politicians love to send them on, and then after. It's horrible. So but we're both sides, all of it. The liberals, the establishment, the centrists. That's why I think that story kind of kicked into such high gear. Someone tweeted, I think it was Jane Lynch or something, about we should name the Senate building after John McCain as soon as this is over, because that's what's important. Anyway, the Bob Woodward thing came out. So there was the news cycle about the Trump calling the troops suckers and losers, dead Americans laying in field, a military funeral. But there was one American cemetery in France that he didn't want to go to because it was raining and he would get his hair and makeup messed up. That's tough. That's the model of masculinity that we're working with there. Trump and Pence are just the conservative surrogate daddies because they're both like two versions of the same like warping, abusive father that so many Americans on the conservative side are sort of, there's a familiarity to that. The sexism. Pence has the religious kind of sexism where like the women are like kind of like, yeah, of course. Mother and father need to keep us women away from power or something. The evangelical movement tends to not be particularly keen on equal rights. The abortion issue is a good example of that. But Trump is sort of the more bombastic kind of doesn't play by the rules bad boy daddy who gets to say what he wants and marry sex workers and divorce them and marry another sex worker and have a bunch of kids and be a billionaire and piss into a gold toilet and eat McDonald's and he gets to say what he wants and he gets to be racist and he doesn't have to apologize for being racist and he pisses off the liberals. Those liberals want to give me health care. Fuck them. How dare you? Anything that upsets a liberal, it's a good thing in this country. It's a great way to operate a society. So, all right, what the hell am I? Where am I? Oh, yeah, there was that, and then the Woodward revelations came out. And the weird thing about that, I'm not going to say too much about this. Woodward sat on this information. I guess he did 18 interviews from February, maybe January, but February through June. I think the last interview was in June. For some reason, Trump was just blabbing to Bob Woodward. And Bob Woodward, famous for being one of the reporters. The other one was Carl Bernstein, who broke the Watergate story. So this guy's had quite a career. You know, I mean, he's been a creature of DC politics and media infrastructure for decades and decades and decades. And certainly probably lives a very comfortable life. I imagine he's got tons of books and speaking engagements, and you know, the guy's got to be worth a lot of money. I'd be surprised if it's less than 20 million, maybe. I don't know, who knows. But it ain't just like he's did okay, and he's got a used Mercedes, and he's got like a small cabin home. You know, like he's made a few $100,000 for a few years. He's famous and rich, I'm sure. So he needed more money. So he didn't want to publish the book right away. He wanted more money. Let's not use the word needed. And he didn't come public with this knowledge that Trump was completely lying to everybody. And so people are now pissed at Woodward. And I agree. I think it's immoral. I think what he did to have that knowledge and to not say something is pretty gross. It's not cool. You know, people are dying. But I find it weird that people care so much, because what would it have changed had he come out, say like in April, and he said, actually, Bob Woodward here, I've got a report that Donald Trump has said that he knows this is dangerous and affects children and is much more dangerous than the flu. It came out. It would have been a news cycle. But the mechanisms to transmit, to transform that news cycle into political action don't exist. There may have been, at least that was kind of my first feeling about it. And then the more I thought about it, there may have been increased pressure for Trump to put on a mask a little sooner than the one or two times he's been photographed wearing a mask. Like maybe Trump would have been forced to, but the right-wing spin machine, the right-wing media echo chamber would have just said Bob Woodward's lying. You don't have to believe it. And it's the people on Facebook, the Zuckerberg minions, wouldn't have had to, you know, their minds are so pliable. Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered. I guess in a sense it could have saved. I mean, if you do lockdown, like a week, days make a difference with lockdown. So maybe if a governor in a state had a lockdown a little sooner, or the Republican governors in Texas and Florida, Georgia, or whatever, were forced to sort of face the reality a little quicker, that could have saved lives. But I just don't think it would have changed anything, honestly. I'm not trying to be dismissive about only saving a few thousand lives. And it's sort of horrifying to think about that we're at 200,000 dead. 200,000 dead. Some would have died in the best circumstances. 10, 15,000 maybe. Big country. Lots of people. A little too much. Well, I shouldn't say a little too much freedom. I was going to say it sarcastically. But like a little too much of this individualistic, you can't tell me what to do kind of freedom. This sort of thing that's like, you can't tell me to pay taxes for health care. I'm free. No, you're not. Now you're just going to pay more for private care, and you're never going to get it anyway because it costs money for them to keep you alive, you fucking idiot. So anyway, yeah, this country was always sort of doomed, but the mass death and the negligence that have, before Trump, before Obama, that have been written into the code of society, that we just tolerate huge amount of pain and suffering and death, and it doesn't seem to rise to anybody's threshold for being furious. We're tired. We work too much. We don't get enough vacation time. And I want to say some more stuff about vacation in another episode. Let me just make a note here. Leisure is a word. I spelled it wrong. I wrote it leisure. Good podcasting. So, what the fuck am I talking about? Oh, yeah. So the Woodward cycle. There you go. RNC. I don't know. I recorded this on my screen and just on one of the nights. I ended up getting a little sick that week. I've been eating shit. Honestly, I've not been following through on my healthy habits. I have the depression. But like I have to kind of whenever I fall off my my management tasks, it's like sometimes you got to get up early and feed the goats and milk the goats and water the goats. You know, you got to do stuff around the farm, and then it's like, all right, well, I have to do that for my depression. And when I don't do that, it kind of like, it doesn't come roaring back immediately, but I start to eat bad food, or I'm not meditating, I'm not exercising, and then like I can just kind of overall feel that. And yeah, that's okay. 2020, you know, it's all fucked up. I'm getting through it all right though. I'm very fortunate. Why the hell am I? Oh yeah, so I didn't do a lot of RNC stuff as much as I did for the DNC. So I did get this. So this is Donald Trump's daughter, Tiffany. There she is. Let's just see what she's saying. I didn't mark anything, so let's just see what she's talking about.
Comfort zones will accomplish so much more. Some cynical politicians do not seem to believe in the miracle of America.
It's a miracle. America. Skipped ahead here. This is another jump.
And then freely make your voice heard to the world. We believe in school choice because a child's zip code in America should not determine their future.
Yeah. I'm glad we caught that. Okay. I'm not going to get super into this. You've been seeing the Republicans screaming about school choice. It's obviously like one of those focus group words. They are trying to destroy public education so that they can funnel money to private for-profit religious institutions and just homeschooling and the for-profit sector of education. There's plenty of profit, I think, flowing through the regular education system in terms of like books and supplies. I mean, there's a lot of profit being made there. But the school choice thing, when she says the zip codes don't matter, or we don't want zip codes to determine how bad, what she's saying is we know some of the zip codes means that you're going to have a shitty life. And we think that we should give you money so that you can give our friends money, wink, wink. Oh shit, did I say that out loud? And send your kid to a school that doesn't have to follow the same rules that, you know, like they put Betsy DeVos, this fucking vampire billionaire woman with 10 yachts in charge of the education department. And one of the things that she did is she made it harder for people to report rape. Like she did some shit where like it's just okay. It's horrible. But school choice is one of those things where if you're a low information observer paying attention, you hear that, you're like, yeah, why should the government tell me where to send my, how about we just make every school great? Every school should be a sanctuary of education and learning and creativity. And schools are also community centers. They use schools, you know, they're big open gathering spaces, and they have auditions. What am I saying? Auditoriums, that's a word. Schools serve a lot more to a community. We could totally fund beautiful, amazing, well, I sound like Trump all of a sudden, schools in every zip code. All right, Tiffany? Norway, Google it. One more with her. Let's just see what she's saying here.
Country that I want to live in.
Oh, God.
Well, whether you realize it or not, you are a Trump supporter. I encourage you to see beyond the facade that so many other politicians employ. They mask themselves in disguises of decency as they try to pressure us to mask our own.
Yeah, that's all I got. Okay, couldn't take it. Good stuff. Here's Kimberly Guilfoyle. This is Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend. His whole family was there. This guy brings in his fucking kids and his kids' significant others. So this person was a Fox News person. She's a Fox News correspondent. That's a strong word. I think she was a host on The Five or Outnumbered or something, one of those. She's been all over Fox News. But she and Donnie Jr., I don't know what link, some murdering elephants, killing leopards, snorting cocaine, whatever the fuck. So this one hit the round, so I just downloaded it. And we're not gonna, there's like, how long is this? Let me just see here. 6 minutes, 14 seconds. Hell no. Let's just jump into it and see what you're saying.
And need police. Don't count on the Democrats.
Okay, wait, let's back up.
Enforcement. When you are in trouble and need police, don't count on the Democrats.
So if you need the police, don't count on the Democrats. Yeah, if you need the police, call the police. Don't call Nancy Pelosi. Ring, ring. Hello, it's me, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy, send a SWAT team. Yeah, okay. There's the yeah. They're really playing up these those themes of they're gonna take away your guns. They're gonna take away by guns I mean the guns the police carry that will come kill a black person if they're in your neighborhood and you're not liking it. They're gonna take that away from you. That's a tradition in America, being able to just threaten any black person you want with the state power of guys who can murder them without getting in trouble. Let's jump ahead.
Your choice is clear. Do you support the cancel culture, the cosmopolitan elites of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Joe Biden?
Yes! Cosmopolitan elites of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Joe Biden! Cosmopolitan elites of Nancy Pelosi. That's a chant. I would need like a whole array of foam fingers to fit all that on there. Let's keep going with this little thread.
Who blame America first.
Oh yeah. Blame America first. It's America first, not blame America first.
Do you think America is to blame?
She's got the same hair as Tiffany. Is that like a style that's coming around lately? Good. All right. Okay. Okay.
America is to blame.
Yes.
Or do you believe in American greatness? Believe in yourself, in President Trump, in individual and personal responsibility.
All right, I know she gets nuts at the end here. Let's just play this out. This is like the last, let's see, it's the last something. I don't know. It's the last 20 seconds.
The promise of America and ensure that every citizen can realize their American dream. Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
Jesus Christ. Well, she's not wrong. I mean, there's a lot of worst on the way. There certainly could be better. I like the idea that you've had a job for 4 years and you're promising that, don't worry, let me keep this job in it. I'm going to give you my best after 4 years and 200,000 dead, 300,000 by the end of the year or something. Like, you're supposed to, like, when you have a job, you're supposed to give them your best before you even show up. Your fucking cover letter's got to be perfect. No swear words. No rants about the Second Amendment. It's got to be perfect. And you give them your best right off the bat. You give your employer the best. You don't say the best is yet to come after you've been doing a terrible job. No, but they haven't been done. They've done a great job. They've done a great job catapulting their propaganda, eroding any kind of notion of norms, corruption, getting away. I mean, they've really bamboozled their supporters and people who think that the Trumps are out there actually doing any good for anybody. It's really mind warping and fucked up around here these days, isn't it? All right. So yeah, I mean, I could break all this shit down, but she's not worth your energy or mine. These people are insane. It's just gross that it's like this weird family. Who's the Roman guy that had the pants off all the time? Caligula. It's a strange Caligula orgy of idiots and fools. And it speaks to what it tells me is the nature of the American people. Not to say that people are like this naturally, but that American voters, their base, there's a huge percentage of people that don't see this and think this is weird or gross. They see this and think this is a person expressing the truth and power. And most of what this stuff is, and I think this is true not just on the right, but all throughout the political system, is spellcasting. Stephen Colbert, in one of the earlier episodes of the Colbert Show, which probably over 10 years ago, when it started, at least, or something like that, said, I'm not going to read the news to you, I'm going to feel the news at you. And I thought that was like a great summation of like what television news does. I remember watching MSNBC before Bernie was booted out of the primary. The way that the CNN or the MSNBC anchors Chris Matthews, what's her face, the Republican lady that was George Bush's press secretary, Nicole Wallace, Joanne Reed. They had this bristling distaste and discomfort whenever they spoke about Bernie or whenever progressive stuff came up and they were forced to talk about it. But they managed to get rid of that problem. Thanks, Obama. Good work. Speaking of which, fire season here in LA, here in the western part of the United States, that is to say everything west of the New Jersey Turnpike. I don't know. It's funny to me. I've been in New York once. I have no claim to speak about anything on the East Coast. But anyway, shit's all fucked up. Everything's on fire. There's huge fire. There's record-setting fires all over. This has been happening already for a week or two, at least. There's 2 more months at least for the fire season. We have a season. Things burn. Fire's not necessarily bad for a forest without humans around, but we've built our homes. We've built all kinds of things that burn. And then we've increased the conditions in which fires spread and become bigger. We have more energy in the system because we've added pollution into the air that traps heat. And so the entire structure, the entire ebbing and flowing is all elevated. So the fires are more intense. The winds are stronger. The drought seasons are longer. The growing, the plant cycles that require seasons for them to germinate and to rebirth, those are being all messed with. So these fires are terrible and they're going to get really bad. At first we saw some stuff in up near like Oakland and San Francisco, and there was this report. We're going to play the whole thing. This is a reporter for KGW, and I just want to get this right, but it's the Twitter CP ITAWANICH KGW. Christine Pitovanich. So she did a little report. This was filmed like around noon, I believe.
Hi, y'all.
So for those at home, you've seen all these videos and pictures. It's just that red, that completely dominating red sky and red light. And one thing that is interesting is I do a lot of graphics and color, and so like if you were to just change the color and put like a red filter, like slightly, some kind of blending mode, or reduce the opacity slightly so that it just colors everything red or whatever, you would color everything. But in these shots, I don't have the photo right now, but there's a UPS truck picture that's been going around. And UPS has a light on it inside of it. And inside of it, it has normal color because that's white light. And you can see the colors of everything inside the truck. And in this shot here, you can see that the street lights are like kind of normal colored in a sense. They're sort of just a yellowy white. But it's red. It's really red. It's insane. So let's just let her play. Let's just see what this is.
So this right here is downtown Staten. You can see the red hue, the red-orange glow in the sky. There's ash that is falling visibly in front of, when we were driving here, in front of the headlights of the car. But downtown basically empty here, besides a few cars here, people walking around in cars. But the smell of smoke is heavy. At exit 13 off Highway 22 is where a roadblock is, so you can't go any further than that. But just wanted to show you what downtown Staten looks like right now at 12:22 in the afternoon.
Wow, it's so scary. So from down south here in Los Angeles, we're about 6 hours south of San Francisco. And that's a pretty fast 6 hours, meaning like you cover it. That's a big highways. So whatever I don't know how many miles it is. I'm saying you get to take the highway the whole way. So it's not like country road 6 hours. It's actually 80 miles an hour, 6 hours. 8 times 6, 480. Okay, Jesus. We haven't really been experiencing this redness here in LA at all. There was a little tinge of yellow like a few days ago. I'm recording on a Friday. But in the last couple days, and Thursday, we caught this color. I'm showing this on screen. This is my backyard. I have a beautiful light pole in a rotten ass building to look at. But it's this disgusting yellow this cigarette tar yellow. Like if you grew up in a smoking household, if you grew up with your parents billowing cancerous smoke into the air in which your body was developing, it soaks into the walls. It soaks into everything. Especially if you had like white or light colored stuff, obviously. So it's different, just you see it more. So like this like gnarly brownish, orangish yellow pall, which is just disgusting. I back in my Chicago life, I cleaned fish tanks and had a client. This is a one-off. It was a real creep. Dude is super weirdo. I just didn't feel comfortable whatsoever. Called me up for $75. I went over. He had a freshwater hexagon, and not a huge tank. And first time visits they usually take a little longer. And so, but this tank was a mess, and it was obvious. I could get into this a bit more, but anyway, the guy hadn't wiped his aquarium on the outside in years. It was a smoker, and there was a layer of this tar, this yellow shit on the fish tank, and I had like light colored towels. I had a variety of different shades of colors for my towels. I had lots of different towels. You burn through towels pretty quickly when you're a fish man. And I just remember like how disgusted I was that I had, because you can't walk away from a dirty aquarium inside and out. Like the part of the job is to walk away from. I mean, it can be a little cluttered up, like because of you stir up some stuff and you say, yeah, it'll be fine in an hour or two. It'll be beautiful. Don't worry about it. But like I had to clean all the tar off of the outside of his fish tank, and it's like sticky and really tough. You got to like go over it a bunch, and you also have to be super careful with chemicals around fish tanks. I would use a spray, but I'd spray the towel. It's not like you could just bring out the big guns with chemical wise when you're cleaning anything near an aquarium. So good story, Hank. But yeah, this is just a horrible. I went out for a little drive. This is more of it. This is LA about 4 in the afternoon. If you're for those not looking on the YouTube video, this is the sun. The sun is almost completely blotted out, and the sky is just this strange, icky yellow, and you can kind of smell it a little. You can definitely smell it, but I can only imagine if you get into one of these red zones up there where it's really bad, how nasty that must be to deal with. Here's another shot. This is downtown. Twitter, J.A. Christian is the name of the Twitter account. This is big buildings with lights. So this is like downtown. There's some construction. Just turn that down. Yeah, you can see that just an overwhelming orange is taken over. I hope people are able, that people who haven't already been persuaded that we have to treat Earth like a place where we live, that if those of you that aren't yet there experience a day like that, how can you forget the entire world being turned, to them? This is what I'm saying. Like when you're standing in a city, in every direction you look, it's the horror. That's what I mean by the entire world. It's not literally the entire world. Your entire visible bubble of where you live becomes a different shade, an oppressive red or orange, or how does that not make you go, okay, maybe the scientists are onto something here. Maybe it's not the scam I was taught, that it's just scientists trying to trick everybody into them making a slightly normal living. Like what? That's a conspiracy theory from climate deniers, that it's all just a scam by the scientists. Like what are the two possible explanations? Let's say it is a scam. What did the scientists get away with if it were all just a scam and there's actually nothing happening? That they would make $60,000 a year if they're lucky, that their research assistants and grad students who work for them would be slaving. There's a lot of problems with the way people in the academia are compensated. That they're making $28,000 a year. What? And then they'll say, well, no, we don't say it's not happening. We just say that it's not humans causing it. Okay, well, let's say that. Let's say that's true. You're just okay with dying, doing nothing about it? Humans have an incredible ability to change their environment, more than any other animal by trillions of miles in terms of influence. Put on a shirt. That's your environment being changed. But no, actually, no. You know what the scientists' conspiracy was? They're terrified. And they want to make 60 grand a year, and they should. And they're right. This is bad. It's going to get worse. These are the good years right now. You could say that about every period of 10 years in the last 40 years, probably. 25. Like, this stuff is happening. And what an effective denial effort. It really worked to delay proper responses. Joe Biden, 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a small little part of the news cycle. You know, there's a million. The news is impossible to keep up with anyway. But they came out. They made sure to clarify that, oh, no. We're not going to ban fracking. We're definitely going to make sure we still get to frack things. We're still going to inject poisonous chemicals and fuck up water tables into the ground so that we can pull oil out, gas out, and burn it and cause more of this shit. So the Biden administration is going to be continuous. They're going to continue the trend, just like Gavin Newsom does in California. He's the governor of California, for those of you that aren't from this beautiful state. It's beautiful orange, red state. There's also that story during the this is like a week or so before the Democratic convention, where they removed language quietly, with no press announcement or anything, that they were going to be limiting, that they weren't going to be limiting oil subsidies or something like that. I think they had pledged to end oil subsidies, and they said, no, actually, no, that's not what the rich people pay us for. They pay us for the socialism that we give them. They pay us so that we can return the return on investment. If we take away their right to destroy the earth, then they're going to make slightly less money. And then they're going to give us less money. And then my kids won't get jobs in their think tanks. This fucking corrupt system that is permeating society. But, like I said at the beginning, what you're looking at here is shareholder value. You see all that orange? All that horrifying color? That's shareholder value, baby. Some rich person who had the skill of already having money got a little bit more money. And that's what's most important. Next thing. This is our... Oh, yeah, okay. So, Gavin Newsom, the future fighter of California, fucking asshole. California has a long tradition of putting humans in cages and then treating them like shit. There's an enormous correctional facility complex in California. Rehabilitation. It's a grift. It's a brutal, immoral, inhumane system. And one of the ways that we've made the most of all the prisoners is forcing... Well, I think it's a volunteering... I mean, they can sign up for it, and I don't think they force you, but you are paid... It's either $5 an hour or $5 a day. Forgive me for not knowing, but it's super low. Either of those is incredibly low. To be a forest firefighter, to run around, and that's a hard work. I mean, you're bust around, and you're chasing... I knew a guy that was a forest firefighter when I was some dude I knew through my whatever. Just knew a guy. I got a chance to talk to him a few times about it, and I mean, it's dangerous. It's work. I mean, you're climbing through. There's a reason logging is the most dangerous job. Now you're basically a logger, but you're running around fighting fire. So, because it's climbing hills, it's unstable terrain, it's confusing. There's smoke everywhere. Communication can get interrupted very easily, and fire loves hills because it likes to travel up. Heat goes up. So when you get caught on a fire and the fire starts threatening you, and your only escape route is uphill, you're fucked. They give them a blanket. I don't know if this is true I'm just recounting talking to this guy that I remember talking to. And it's like a safety thing. Like you're supposed to... It's like Frodo in Lord of the Rings, where Frodo pretends to be a rock the elves give him a cape. And he turns into a rock. They have these like blankets, I think, that they like cover themselves with in case they get overwhelmed by a wall of fire. But it's crazy dangerous, so they make prisoners do it. And one of the stories that was out like a month or so ago was about how there weren't enough prisoners to be bussed to fight the increase of fires because the prisoners were under COVID restrictions from the plague spreading throughout the prison. It's like we have all these the word comorbidity is in my mind, but that's not exactly what I'm going for. But America has these like streams of pink ooze. Let's go with Ghostbusters. It's like we cross the streams on our malfunction. And thanks to some public outcry, I'm not sure exactly what caused this, but this tweet on screen here is that California's inmate firefighter program is decades old and has long needed reform. That's how politicians speak for. We abuse people. And it's been pointed out to me that a substantial amount of people are upset that we abuse people. Continuing, inmates who have stood on the front lines battling historic fires should not be denied the right to later become a professional firefighter. Today I signed AB 2147. That will fix that. Here he is. Look at him. Look at that old handsome Gabby. Gabby Handsome. Look at him signing it on a fucking burned picnic table in a devastated forest covered in ash. Just fucking people. So part of the deal with being a prison firefighter was that you couldn't work as a firefighter after that. You're just some ex-con. They kick you out. They'll sacrifice your body, your lungs, your health, your safety to the fire god Moloch. Is Moloch a fire god? I don't know. Moloch. Moloch's got to have siblings, you know, because evil people like to fuck. What the hell was I talking? I just lost the train. But you can't become a firefighter after that. So now, look at we're doing the humane thing. There's hope. There's hope, everybody. We're gonna let our prisoners, a lot of them in jail for nonviolent drug offenses, will be allowed to be underpaid as a firefighter once they're out. I hope firefighters are paid well. They should be. God, it's insane. And the people who have money, the rule writers, the string pullers of society, the ones who bribe politicians to make sure that nothing ever really changes, guess what they got? They got other homes. They got private planes. They're out of there. Doesn't matter to them that some places are burning down. They got all kinds of great places to escape to. But eventually they're going to run out of that too. They're trying to get off, like I've said this before. One sign that something is wrong with your society is when the people in charge are desperate to build rocket ships and survival bunkers, luxury survival bunkers, in which to escape. Maybe the presence or just the fact that luxury survival bunkers or survival bunkers in general and the eagerness to escape, although I don't think any billionaires alive think they're going to be hopping on and escaping Earth themselves. I know there's lots of movements for immortality and the singularity shit, and they really want to push for colonizing Mars or colonizing the moon to get resources, like asteroid mine. I mean, I think that's just kind of just I'm not necessarily completely against any of that shit. It doesn't, you don't just automatically say like never. I think that there's certainly I watch a lot of sci-fi. We're gonna have to start doing cool stuff out in space. I'm for it. But the super wealthy are eager to get away, and I think a good show. I would love to pitch this as a show. Maybe I should work on it, like write up like a treatment or whatever they call that. Of the apocalypse has gone down. You know, shit's all fucked up. There's been electricity is spotty at best, if not completely gone. I don't know exactly how far into the apocalypse we want to be. Roving bands of cannibalistic gangs. Some are maybe not. Maybe somebody's got a gardener and they know how to grow stuff. Or maybe they've got a supply of food. They don't have to resort to turning each other's brains into soup. Or stew, as Adam Carolla would say. That fucking guy. And what'll happen, though, I think is interesting, is that there'll be certain facilities where a bunch of rich people have stored their frozen heads. And it's going to have a lot of generators or something. And maybe even a little defense unit. So some buildings will be better fortresses. Prisons, like Walking Dead. Maybe a football stadium. I'd like a tennis stadium if personally to build my fortress. You'd think gas station sounds like a good idea for a fortress, but you're sitting on just a big pile of gas. If the people want to mess with you, they just got to sneak a Molotov cocktail into the gas thing below. I don't know what I'm saying. But there'll be survival bunkers scattered throughout the land, and it'll become like a sport. It'll become an activity, a necessary one too, but you'll have people roaming around trying to find these survival bunkers, and then maybe they have like a land defense. Like it could get real cool. You could make this show really intense. But I think there's a lot of drama to be mined for entertainment purposes. Because if we're not going to stop the apocalypse, we might as well make a few good shows about it in the last 40 years of human civilization before all the power goes out. So hunting rich people, hunting millionaires, smoking them out of their caves of the survival bunkers might be a thing that would be fun to watch. Okay? On Hulu. Gotta borrow someone's password for that Hulu stuff, huh? Alright, good times. Look at this shit. Gavin Newsom. What a good guy. Barack Obama spoke up. The fires across the West Coast are just the latest examples of the very real ways our changing climate is changing. Dude, you used changing twice within 4 words. Our changing climate is changing our communities. Protecting our planet is on the ballot. Vote like your life depends on it. M-dash. Because it does. And he included some photos from Jessica Christian. Oh, yeah, we saw Jessica Christian. I think it was one of her videos. San Francisco Chronicle. Just orange hues. There's a man looking around at a bridge. And there's a bird. There's like a seagull. Man, the animals. Like, at least humans can go, oh, this is going to be in my depression dreams later. But, like, animals just probably like, oh, shit's fucked up. I'm an animal. I don't have a lot of sophisticated reasoning around this part. Like, during an eclipse, all the animals just, like, they just don't know what to do. I think they just get quiet. There's another one. So Obama was called out on Twitter on September 17th, 2019 by a one at Hank_Thompson. I think he had posted a photo of him and young Greta Thunberg, the climate activist from Swedway. I don't know what country she's from. I wrote, this is BS. Here's Obama bragging about making America the #1 oil producer in the world and telling Wall Street to, quote, just say thank you, please, for making their stocks go up. Barack Obama is among the most responsible on the planet for wrecking the earth and its future. Let's play the video.
I know we're an oil country, and
whoa, sorry, wrong bit there. Hold on. Rewind.
I know we're an oil country, and we need American energy, and it went up every year I was president. That whole suddenly America's like the biggest oil producer and the biggest that was me, people. I just want you to. So.
Yes, he opened up the veins of Earth and allowed us to inject our stupefying placate. What's the word you do when you get mollified? Mollifying. What it was? Okay, I lost track of that. Vampires are applauding this guy bragging that he made it America. We make more oil and gas than anybody else. He's at the Rice University Baker Institute. It's Jim Baker, former one of these kind of Biden types that's been around forever. I think he was Secretary of State under H.W. Big foreign policy, somebody who has an institute because he's very serious. And this is Obama speaking there, bragging about turning America into the #1 oil producing nation on the planet Earth. A nation that didn't really need that to be a competition there, fuckface.
sometimes you go to Wall Street and folks will be grumbling about.
Oh, you go to where the important people live. Wall Street.
Rewound
it.
Sometimes you go to Wall Street and folks will be grumbling about anti-business. I said, have you checked where your stocks were when I came into office and where they are now? What? Just say thank you, please.
Just say thank you, please.
There's my little flair on the end of that. So yeah, Obama, well, he did his job. He did what he was hired to do. He made sure the line went up. Not the line of carbon pollution that we're looking at on the screen, but the stock market. He made sure that the Wall Street was made whole. He didn't prosecute anybody. I think one guy went to prison or something for some part of the 2008 collapse. It's just enormous, devastating recession, this equity bonanza where they were just buying up distressed properties because of the mortgage collapse. Obama didn't do anything to make any of those people well. But he made sure the oil was pumping. He made sure there was plenty of carbon being shot into the sky. Fucking asshole. It's tweeting about how this is real and this matters. What does this tweet say again? Very real ways our changing climate is changing our communities. Protecting our planet is on the ballot. Now, he's not wrong. I think that the planet has, at least it'll delay slightly the rate of growth. Don't delay a rate. It'll reduce slightly the rate of growth of human misery. I do believe that a Trump administration will be worse. They are aggressive. They are, God, it's so insane how incredibly mendacious. All right, anyway, so let's keep going. Where are we at? An hour? Over an hour already? Okay. Ugh. All right, I'll tell you what. Okay, here we are. All right. I got a plan. Here we go. So anyway, it's all bad. It's not just oil production. It's not just gas. It's not just the pollution. It's not just any one part of it. It's the entire structure of society. It's the fact that we buy disposable bottles and not you and me. It's not like an individualistic. It's like I started watching. I'm in my Adam Ruins Everything phase of life right now. And I like the show a lot. There's a little, sometimes I could do without the comedy, honestly. I'm just like, just tell the cool, interesting bits. That's the stuff I want. But I know you gotta kind of like the comedies, like the hot dog, and the important stuff is the pill inside the hot dog. And I'm like, just give me the fucking pill. I'll get my own hot dog. I'm a comedian. I shit hot dogs. Okay? Anyway, Adam Ruins Everything, interesting show. And I just watched a episode about going green, and they made the point about the companies that made sure to prevent America from becoming like some European countries where when you finish a bottle of Coca-Cola, say, you actually keep that bottle, you take it to a facility where you recycle it, and it actually gets literally recycled. It gets reused. There's a washing way. And so they made sure to They created some sort of business council, some advisory board or whatever, one of these like advocacy groups that are actually just a front group for corporate interests to promote recycling, to promote that you're going to do your part by making sure that you sort your garbage and put it in the right spot. And so they converted litter, or they generated the notion of litter bug, but they used that as a way to impose an individualistic causality on pollution and climate and litter by making it your responsibility to not litter, your responsibility to recycle. But they're still just making all that stuff, and it's all ending up all over the place. And I just saw an article today about China. 2 years ago, I think it was, they stopped taking our old garbage. They're a developing economy. They're quite developed, and they don't need our shit anymore. So we have just been burying recycling. And America's recycling infrastructure is paltry at best. So this whole structure, this whole way of living is contributing to this disaster, and it needs to change. It needs to change big. And I contribute. I'm alive. I use electronics. I eat meat. I do a lot of that, and I feel really guilty. That's at least I'm paying that price, but I'm not doing it. I mean, I shouldn't say I'm not doing anything. I'm probably fairly small footprint in terms of whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's horrible. So a lot of stuff has to change. People like Obama are just, wow, I just had a weird little gassy thing come out my throat. I hope that didn't get picked up by the microphone, but I already talked about it. So, but people like Obama are trotted out to give you the sense that everything is going to be fine. I think of Earth. I wasn't going to talk about this, so I'm going to keep this quick because I do want to like expand this. I think of Earth as like a generation ship. Like we need to imagine Earth, conceptualize our relationship to Earth as you would if you were born on a gigantic ship traveling across the galaxy, where you're never expected to see the destination. You weren't born when the ship took off, but you're in the middle of it. And you're carrying a responsibility to make sure the ship is in good health for the people that come after you. And the sooner we can convert our viewpoint on Earth from being a resource to exploit as fast as we possibly can, so we can make our quarterly earnings expectations, so that our boss doesn't get upset at us at the company Christmas party and we get our bonus so that we can buy our next jet ski, to a responsibility to care for a generation ship, to make sure that it is healthy and safe. Because it's literally what Earth is. It's traveling through space of an unknown destination, although I think in a generation ship you should hopefully know where you're going. And this is our generation ship that we need to look after. All right, I want to talk about more of that some other day. Like it'd be a good show, you know, or a movie about like the fucking people on the ship that screw it up. Like we're just watching the death of a generation ship here. Like some of us are like, no, don't. Why are you doing that? We're all part of the problem, but let's work on solving this problem. We're killing the ship. You're going to crash it. Or even, they're not even going to crash the ship. It's not like they're going to steer it into some Neptune-ass ball of ice. Some fucking quasar. No. They're just going to kill everybody because they're going to fuck up the exhaust system on the ship. They're going to gas everybody, or they're going to kill it. They're going to make it so that food no longer grows. So they're going to have this ship traveling silently through eternity until some black hole sucks it up or something in several trillion years. So good work, America. All right, my God, 9/11 is today. And you know, never forget, very successful Kickstarter. 9/11, Osama bin Laden achieved his goal. I'd say probably exceeded his expectations for provoking a I don't know what his goals were. I believe he wanted to damage America, not just using the attack itself, but based by provoking America to have a outburst of irrational violence, which is something we're pretty darn good at. So it worked. We went for it. The conservatives that were in charge were eager to impose the fascist Patriot Act on the population. The Democrats, ostensibly the opposition party, were nothing of the sort. The nationalism and conformity police were rampant after 9/11, and it was largely done with Democrats. Biden being among the most fervent who wanted to go into Iraq, who contributed to that immense war crime that the Obamas are part of rehabilitating George W. Bush from. So just a couple quick things. So back in 9/11, or in some speeches afterwards, I wasn't able to find, there was a part, I believe I remember seeing George Bush say this on a talk show. I couldn't find that clip, but I did find a couple clips of him saying that giving Americans advice. You know, you're in a stressful time, your society is crumbling, there's just been a big attack, you don't know what to think, you don't have any historical grounding because you're fucking American, so you have no clue how to contextualize any of this global violence or the various movements and trends and biases that might be working either against or with each other, or sometimes both. So you don't know. So you look for leadership. You want someone with authority, a guy in a suit, a white guy in a suit, to tell you everything's going to be okay. You need a daddy. And daddy's going to tell you what to do. So what do, Daddy?
We cannot let the terrorists achieve the objective of frightening our nation to the point where we don't...
Well, he needs a long pause to think of the next word.
Where we don't conduct business.
Oh, they don't want us to conduct business.
Where people don't shop. That's their intention.
I ruined it.
Where people don't shop.
They don't want us to shop. Don't you let those terrorists win. You go buy a new set of lawn furniture, you fucking loser.
Where people don't shop. That's their intention.
Their intention. They don't want you to go to Walmart and buy an extra big bag of corn pops. Spicy corn pops? No. Osama bin Laden smiles when you only can afford regular corn pops. 400 different brands of toothpaste. Not brands, choices. 60 brands. I don't know how many. Osama bin Laden doesn't want you to have toothpaste. Go shopping. You should buy toothpaste, by the way. Toothpaste doesn't... I mean, we don't need that much selection, but you should care for your teeth. Teeth are... Oh, God, teeth. God, you get older, your teeth just start falling out. Mine I haven't hit that point yet, but... Ugh. Our head... Our avocado mixers in our fucking mouth cave rot and... Okay, why am I talking about that? But you gotta shop. You need the new TV. You need new stuff. You consume. We have a very efficient way of scraping minerals off the ground, converting them using machines and labor, poor people, and then shipping them to you where it doesn't cost much, where you can buy it. And a nice little profit for us. Oh, and guess what? It's designed to wear out. Guess what? It's made of crap anyway. You're going to need a new sock by the time you get to your car. It's a little quick. It's a little quick for a sock wear out, but you don't have time to make anything yourself anyway. It's kind of why I like the woodworking stuff. I want to make my own furniture. You're going to be my wife? I'll make a new furniture, okay? You're on notice, ladies. That's hot. Oh my God, make me a piece of furniture, Hank. But it'd be funny. I like the idea of being mildly abusive with it. I'm not saying I'm saying it'd be funny. Not funny. Abuse is not. But being aggressively awesome. You're gonna like this cutting board, bitch. I should probably take this part of the podcast out. No, I'm. What the fuck is wrong with me? I do want to make my wife furniture. I think it'd be nice. Yeah. Yeah, I found a box of irregular Nintendos behind the Zares, and I converted it all into a beautiful console table for you and me, and now we can have people come over for entertaining parties. Yeah. George Bush had some more wisdom here, December 20th, 2006.
And I encourage you all to go shopping more.
Don't stop feeding us. Feed us. We need you to spend money. We need you to get stuff. If we're not shipping stuff, the economy will collapse. So good, we've got a system designed to make sure that we consume as much as possible in order to maximize profit. There's none of this. You got what you have enough. You know what I think you should have? Not just enough, a little extra. I think it's okay to be prepared. But this culture in this society, this consumerism, here comes the Adam Curtis part of every episode. It's not every time. But there's a series called The Century of the Self. It's on YouTube. Search for it. Adam Curtis, Century of the Self. Start with episode 1, part 1. I think it's four parts. And it's all about it starts about Sigmund Freud and sort of the early years of psychoanalysis and when humanity started to shift into the more modern era, quote unquote, of at least acknowledging that the mind and the brain was a frontier, still is, as a frontier of a way to try to improve health. But also they figured out that there's a way to use it to manipulate and control. And so it gets into then the origins of advertising. This guy, Edward Bernays, I think he was like a nephew of Freud or something. It's kind of weird how it's all sort of woven together. And his daughter, Anna Freud, was like a big proponent. She herself was famous just based on her name, but she was also active in this too. And all the ways that they realized they could use mass media to influence populations, to compel large groups of humans using news and public relations. Sort of it's like the origin of propaganda and public relations on larger scales. Because in the Industrial Revolution, starting in the 1800s, late 1800s, was well afoot, was well underway. And along with that comes a kind of propaganda revolution too, so that they can coerce populations to be pliant and to be provoked into buying stuff. So the capitalists took advantage of it, and the governments were taking advantage of it. It's really interesting shit. Century of the Self on YouTube. So keep shopping, guys. Make sure you don't give up on your shopping. Here's Donald Trump had a good day on 9/11. This is way back when. This is worth playing. You've heard this before, I'm sure. There's a video on screen of the buildings being still collapsed. I think they were playing this on a loop. But I believe this is the day of 9/11. Donald Trump went on the air of a local Channel 9 News.
You have one of the landmark buildings down in the financial district, 40 Wall Street. Did you have any damage, or what's happened down there?
Well, okay, that's a softball. Actually, we were very fortunate. We did get some dust damage, but I called my security people. We made sure everybody is safe, and we're directing resources as to where it's needed. It's an ongoing situation, but we're doing our best. And we're just making sure that people who need help are getting help, and that we're working with the police and the government to try to make sure that we are able to deal with this tragedy and keep everybody safe. It's a scary time for everybody. That's not what Trump answered, though. Here's how he answered.
Well, it was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest.
Actually, yeah, it was great. Now that it's a pile of rubble, my building's the tallest. And by the way, that's not true. That's also just fucking out. That's just a lie. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that it's not true. So, there's your two conservative presidents. There's your three. I guess I mean I don't count Obama among like American conservatives, but he's fundamentally conservative in terms of protecting the empire. Steward of empire that he was. He did a great job making sure that American companies were profitable. That's what a president's job is supposed to be. Sadly. So you got three presidents in a row, but on 9/11 particularly here, Trump and Bush this is the kind of character we have. The building is tallest now. It's one thing for you to think that. It's one thing for you to think it like months later and be like, oh, wow. Let's just say it was true for a second. Oh, man, I just realized my building's the tallest now. But he's on the air the day of. People are still alive in the rubble. They're not even close to the end of the rescue operation. They're not even barely started it. He's bragging about how, thanks to this, his building is bigger now. But this is the guy that so many of our conservative family and friends think is the sort of character that we want to elevate to the kind of prominence that he's got in this culture. Unbelievable. So there's 9/11 for you. I don't know what else to say. I could probably just ramble about it if I felt like it, but we got more stuff to get to. This is a quick one. I'm just going to do two more things about Trump. I did have a thing about evictions, which I'm going to hold off on just until the next time, I think. As always, I'm always like, I could do like 4 a week. I'm like, I'm not going to do 4 a week. I'm lucky if I can do 1. I'm lucky if I can do 4 a month. But I should change that. I should actually change my whole strategy with this whole goddamn effort. So here's Trump being asked about, I don't know exactly the question that leads up to this, but he, of course, in his bizarre, rambling, river of nonsense kind of approach to everything. Let's just play. Quit talking to me, you fucking idiot.
Now, what the Durham report is going to say, I can't tell you. But if they say half as much as I already know just from seeing it, you have people, I watch some of the shows.
Here's the part. Here's the shows. He talks about all of his stories.
I watched Liz McDonald. She's fantastic. I watched Fox Business. I watched Lou Dobbs last night, Sean Hannity last night, Tucker last night, Laura. I watched Fox and Friends in the morning. You watch these shows.
So it's like 5, 6, 7 hours of programming. He might fast forward. I think he DVRs it, so he might skip the commercials. Although let's just see what else this is.
You don't have to go too far into the details. They cover things it's really an amazing thing. They got caught in the biggest political scandal in the history of our country. They were spying.
Okay, so he just suddenly starts talking about this bullshit nonsense that Obama was spying. They're really leaning hard into that one. He watches all these shows, and I just think about how, just set aside all the horrors and the nonsense and the bullshit and the narcissism. I mean, I guess that's all of it. All of that's still there, but he watches. It's just such a fucking mind fuck. Swearing there. Of his consciousness, he has, your head is a sensor array. Your body is a big sensor array. Most of it's concentrated in the head, eyes, ears, taste, smell. But you also have pressure detection. You can feel vibrations in your chest. I mean, you get a sense for the world. That's how you get information. Your body processes it. Most of the processing happens in the brain, and then behavior emerges from the combination of interpretation of what your information is, as well as the emotional construct of your origins and how your genetics and your culture and your childhood inform your response. And his consciousness is off the charts warped into his own narcissistic feedback loops. He doesn't have the kind of narcissism where he just goes and minds his own business. It's the kind where he's got to be involved in the world and make things and change, make statements and be part of it. I don't know if that's necessarily driven by narcissism. I think a lot of people have a desire to be heard. I think about that a lot in my own context of what the hell I'm doing this for. But I don't need to go on that right now. So he just must exist in this insane feedback loop of watching TV so that he can watch them talk about him, and then he gets to tweet it or have a press conference or make some crazy law change that surprises everybody, and then they talk about that, and then he gets to feel that his brain, just imagine a factory. You've all seen how it's made, a little a conveyor belt going by with a little highly well designed robot machine spitting out candy. His brain just squirts out a little nugget of dopamine or whatever. He just must be getting this kind of these little squirts, these little, here you go, brain, here you go, fucked up brain, here you go, narcissist brain, here you go, mentally ill, out of your mind fucking nonsense. It's like his psychosis just harmonizes with the type of leadership that our culture generally picks. We usually don't like sociopaths that are this obvious. We like our sociopaths to be like Obama. Biden is a much more obvious sociopath because he's got a history of sociopathic voting behind him. Obama didn't have that. And he's not as sophisticated as Obama by any stretch. Plus, he's fading. But we don't want... He's so gross and blunt and stupid about it, but that's also sort of what his audience interprets as honesty. because he's not doing the thing where he's obviously lying, even though he's obviously lying. But he's obviously different, I guess, to them, even though he's a creature of this system. He's the kind of person that we need to be guarded against by the most extreme type of scenario, because exactly what's happening right now with the pandemic. And it's just so weird for him for the TV and his phone to be these like screens that I just picture, if I were to make an animation of this or something, it would be like a television and a light bulb in a room with no walls, but it's a room, it's inside somehow. And they just kind of glow back and forth with each other on one side and on the other side. Didn't think you were going to get such great Foley work here, did you, when you click play on this episode of this kooky show? It's just like this strange, he says something, the TV talks about it, he gets angry, or he agrees with them, and it turns into this thing, and I'm not even sure how to articulate it, but there's reams of textbooks to be written about this kind of unique situation. I mean, there's similar dynamics. I can't stand looking at this piece of shit. Let me get him off the screen. There's similar dynamics throughout history and even current. I mean, it's happening right now, but around the world, where some despotic nut with similar narcissistic tendencies, and not to mention just what power does to your mind and what money does to your mind, and the way you can be completely warped by the bubbles that form around wealth, even fake wealth. And he's in a bubble. I mean, whether he's a billionaire or not a billionaire, he's in a gigantic wealth bubble. Let's be fucking real about that. And there's people out there that have a similar dynamic with the news, this kind of relationship, but with this, it's just this perfect storm of personality conflict or personality traits, media manipulation, a media that benefits from it, all these different problem areas of the American psyche and its history, our history of sexism, misogyny, patriarchy, abusive fathers, abusive parenting, rape, assault, attack, exploitation, taking advantage of people, lying, getting away with it, using the law to your most advantage, using the justice system to advantage yourself, using the media. All these systems kind of were sort of cooked into exploited by Trump. He's one of them. I mean, he's a product of this system. Biden is too, and Pelosi and Schumer and Mitch McConnell, and they are all serving the same goal that Obama has done and has been greatly rewarded for, of making sure nothing changes too much so that the people making money continue to make money, because they've got their quarterly profits that they've got to meet, and they've got their psychopathic bosses and their institutionalized shareholders. Like you or me owning a few $1,000s in stock, and I don't have anything. I have nothing. But I'm not talking about someone who's got even a few $100,000 in the stock market because they've been at a 401k for a while. I'm talking about these the pension funds and the hedge funds and these investing, these big things, as well as the private holders all over the world. So I don't exactly remember where I was going with this, but like the short-term focus, like the business cycle, the 24-hour news cycle, and the business cycle is a major part of why the thinking doesn't extend past a year or two. I mean, yes, a lot of these entities like corporations and governments do have long-term plans. I mean, they have like contingency plans. They have, they're not like surprised that there's going to be 10 years from now something, you know what I mean? But what motivates decision-making on small scales, on small time scales, is this quarterly profit thing and this annual budgeting bullshit. Why don't we just Make it so that quarterly means once a year. Like, why do we have to follow that interval? It's not written in stone, as if that's the only way that something means permanent. It's not like it has to be every 3 months. You have to have a report. We could probably, there's probably some sort of reporting mechanism where you check in every 5 years. Look what you've done in 5 years. Cool. The world's better. Great. I mean, I know this sounds super simplistic and whatever, but the way it is doesn't have to be the way it is, because the way it is was written and designed by people who are motivated by immediate return and as near return as possible so that they can fulfill their immediate goal. It sets aside the future. It uses the future as a resource to be mined because they know that they're kicking problems down the road. They know that pollution is going to have to be dealt with, but they're going to be dead by the time anybody has to deal with it. By the time it turns the skies red, it's not their problem. Someone else will deal with that. They don't care that all those koalas died in Australia. Well, all companies should have to keep a koala alive in their lobby. And if you let your koala die, guess what? You pay a small fine. See? Problem solving there, everybody. All right, finally, we're almost done. Trump supporters were interviewed on CNN. I guess this is all kind of low-hanging fruit, but this does give you an idea of what the sort of mindset that's emerging. And the division, the gulf that's forming between people like me, people who are centrist-y liberals, I guess, too, I would say, are far from this. But the right-wing radicalization, particularly on Facebook, the right-wing YouTube sphere and the radio podcast sphere, and Fox News, and all these other One America News Network, they've got their, I'm thinking tongs. That's why I'm hesitating. They've got their tongs inside the brains of these people. When you listen to these people talk, it's just like, what on fucking planet are you people from? What are you talking about? So they're talking to some folks at a Trump rally.
Why are you guys not wearing masks? I have one with me. It's my prerogative.
He doesn't want to wear a mask. It's his prerogative. Basically saying, you can't tell me. Well, it's a nice way of saying you can't tell me.
But why not wear one to stay safe? I have a hard time understanding people when they talk, so that's why I don't wear it.
Perfect logic. Thanks for the explanation there. Which part of Vulcan are you from?
You can hear me right now? I can hear you.
Sure. I have a hard time. You gotta let me listen to that again without my interruption. I have a hard time understanding people when I wear a mask.
I'm understanding people when they talk, so that's why I don't wear it. But you can hear me right now? I can hear you.
Now, to be fair to the guy, I find it annoying talking to people who are wearing a mask. I have a hard time hearing people who have masks on, and I think he's saying, I want to make sure I'm understood, so I don't wear masks that I'm understood. That's bullshitty. I mean, it's not bullshit, but it's bullshit because he just doesn't want to wear a mask. It's not, I mean, I don't want that either, but I also don't want to give that person a deadly virus or get one from them. That's why I don't suck on cashier fingers anymore.
Sure.
Here's another guy.
Why are you not wearing a mask?
Because there's no COVID.
Oh, okay. There's no COVID. First of all, this guy was holding up a sign that said veterans. I'll rewind it. Turn the volume down. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Hang with me. Yeah, he's holding a sign that says veterans for Trump. Should say suckers for Trump, because that's what Trump thinks the veterans are. Oh, put that in your ad. Lincoln Project, motherfucker. Here we go. More.
You're not wearing a mask.
Because there's no COVID. It's a fake pandemic.
It's one of these fake pandemics. You know how easy it is to talk millions and millions and millions of people into voluntary depression, like economic depression, and what do you think? All those dead people, they're fake.
Created to destroy the United States of America.
But the president said to Bob Woodward that there is a virus, the coronavirus, and that it is deadly.
That's his opinion. The truth is that the CDC said that only less than 10,000 people die from COVID. The other 190,000 have 2.6 or 2.8 other mortalities.
That's that. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but that's Adam Carolla. Comedy's Ted Cruz tweeted something about that similar of like if you had other things you got tricked because you think this is like, so if you get a virus and it kills you because you got the virus, but you happen to also have had diabetes at the time or a heart condition, but you weren't dying from that, but you die from the virus, then you didn't actually die from the virus. It doesn't count. How is that supposed to make any fucking sense? If I'm walking down the street and I get hit by a car, well, he was bald. He had a condition. Look at him. Look at him. He's a bald corpse. Strung up on a stoplight. That's how far the hit went. He got hit by that Subaru. Now he's up on a stoplight. Being bald and dripping blood out of his orifices now. The new ones. And some of the ones that were already there. It's fucking idiots. They think this is persuasive. And the confidence that this guy has. It's like, well, that's just his opinion. You know, you can't die. Like, I think, again, I always have compassion for these people. Let me get to the, I don't have them. Oh, all right. Final one, then I'll ramble.
You guys all to be in this crowded space with all these...
Okay, so it's hard to understand the reporter's question. Jim Acosta, does it worry you guys at all to be in this crowded space with all these people? Oops, bumped the thing.
I'm not afraid. The good Lord takes care of me. If I...
Oh, for God's sakes. Jesus Christ.
I die. I die. We got to get this country moving. Can't we can do? Wear masks and stay inside for another year? Huh? Where'll that get us?
Well, Andrea Bocelli's playing in the background for some reason. On Soshi. That's a good song, by the way. Ave Maria. Oh, man. You, me, Prius, leather seats, backup camera, Red Lobster, Andrea Bocelli, and we'll design some furniture, and I'll build it for you, and then you'll be my wife. How's that sound, huh, ladies? What if I do doing this podcast because I think it's going to, like, attract attention from women? Like, that's, like, the worst possible. Yeah, so where's wearing a mask and staying inside? Where's that going to get you? Nope, you got to go out and die of a preventable disease. So it's just nuts. I understand why no one, it's an oversimplification, but why these people don't know what to do. Because they trust the media they consume. And they can, you know, like we all do, we have a confirmation bias, but they certainly look for media and regularly turn to media that confirms their biases and don't like to be exposed to conflicting information. It's difficult to process. It calls cognitive, what's the word for that? Dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. And if you trust media that's telling you confidently, you got a bunch of, attractive women on Fox News telling you how the world works, and we tend to prefer to look at attractive people. That's why I don't do a video portion of this show. That's not true. I'm really hot. Repeat it. I mean, it's going to make sense, especially if it reaffirms what you already think you know, and the rest of the world seems confusing, and you don't really know where to land on things, and maybe your disposition is to trusting authority. I don't have that at all. I'm very suspicious and questioning of authority, skeptical. And maybe you like to have confidence in what you think you know. I think that's partially where there's an instinct that's exploited by religions and cults that give you answers. It's just nice to have an answer. I don't really give a shit about your fucking answer. Does it make any sense? Maybe I'll think about it. But I really don't like to be super confident. I certainly speak with confidence about lots of stuff, but I'm always calculating in my mind like, I'm like a 51% on this here. You could probably talk me into changing my mind pretty easily. I'm like a 72% on this one. You could take a little work, but I'm open to being persuaded in my confidence level on these. I feel like there's at any given moment, your certainty about a topic should be on a moving continuum. It should change as you get more information or as you learn about the biases of the information where you get your information. Who do you trust? Why do you trust them? Et cetera, et cetera. And these people, there's a great episode of, I think I mentioned this one, the Kyle Tierman episode on Winners and Losers here. But the Citations Needed podcast, and they did an episode on conspiracy theories and how people tend to embrace them when they live in a stressful society, one marked by lack of representation, lack of having their viewpoints reflected in their policies, but also a opaque government system, a system that they don't really understand, that's intentionally obfuscated and blurry, and you just don't really quite understand the levers of power. Now, they don't sit around thinking, oh man, I wish I understood levers of power better and I could have a different way of contextualizing the news. They just are looking for something to be able to explain the world. It's a coping skill. It's used like a substance almost. And particularly if you're emerging from a society like America, where white men are taught to be very confident in how they are. For one of the reasons why is because you got to compete with other white guys. Something, and I'm not looking for sympathy here, but I think I'm probably going to fuck this up. I wasn't planning on, but like, it is exhausting dealing with dudes who have confidence that they did not earn. Because in some way, you kind of just have to as well. You kind of just got to bluster to be a male, to be a guy, to try to be one of the boys. And I've always been able to kind of chameleon my way around that. I'm tall. I got nice tits if I do push-ups, you know what I mean? My hands, they're decent sized. But I can be a guy. But I got this fucking poet soul, this sensitivity generator, and inside I'm like, what? Why are we acting like this? What the? Why? Oh, America. Oh, okay. Oh, stupid world. Oh, it's right. I see. We're just conditioned by our fucked up society to emulate a specific manifestation of masculinity or whatever. Certainly a denial of any femininity you might have. And I don't mean like putting on makeup femininity. I just mean the fact that you are half female, half male genetically from your parents. Yes, there is a genetic disposition towards one or the other, but we're humans. We're humans. You're influenced by both parents. They were too. Anyway, point of being, like, our full humanity, it's like no one wants to acknowledge that grasshoppers and locusts are the same species. No, that's not really. I'm just saying, like, I've always found it annoying, this sort of like dumb guy thing. And it's the sort of traits you see in your boss, in work environments, hierarchical places. Especially if you're, I think, partially, I mean, obviously I'm on the left here, no duh. But I'm not comforted by authority. But there are people who are comforted by having someone tell them what to do, to be in charge. It alleviates you of a lot of problems. But that's what leadership. I mean, in a way, like, leadership is. I'm not saying I'm against leadership. I think you need to have individuals that can kind of metastasize behavior and gather people's focus and attention into specific accomplishments, into specific goals and things that can be accomplished through group effort and through persuasive communication, and a lot of those intangible ways that people can be leaders too. Okay, all right, I'm just starting to ramble now, but I feel sorry for all these people who don't have a culture, who don't come from a culture or a tradition where they're proud that they're persuadable. They're proud that they're not persuadable. And the magic spell of calling everything fake news, just dismissing anything outright that might show any kind of challenge to your viewpoint. You just have this easy eraser button that you get to hit. Call it fake news, say that's not real, no, that's bullshit, the liberals did that, Clinton, Soros, or whatever they have these ways of just immediately it's like the world. It's like a lot of these folks have been trained, in Men in Black, where they have the little zapper thing, the little light stick, the little dildo with the light on the end of it that goes. They just do that to themselves all day long until they're able to it's almost like they're their own sheepdog, just like forming themselves into these moldable units that repeat what they hear and what they see. And I probably do something along those lines myself, simply by the very fact that I'm a person too who consumes a lot of media and watches the world. Twitter has got to be an extremely warping way. I definitely don't believe Twitter's real world, but it's probably the primary way in which I kind of keep my ear to the grindstone. No, do you put ears on grindstones? To the rails? You put the ear on the rail. All right, in the movie Stand By Me, when they're listening for the train while they're crossing the bridge. All right, well, good. We got to 2 hours or something. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I've got another interview with another, actually a past guest of the show coming up real soon. The next episode of Winners and Losers, Jessica Ellis. I'm excited to have an interesting conversation with her. And yeah, it's just nuts. This election's going to be madness. There's going to be a lot of violence. It's bad. It's bad out there, man. It's real. it's so bad. But we'll get a few nice days of weather. But we're not quite yet where it's always bad, and then people will get used to the terribleness. The frog. We're just the frog in the water, to use a tired metaphor that I'd like to come up with my own metaphors. They're like a frog in the champagne. Okay? Our penises are drunk. Or vaginas. Frog-ginas. Do frogs? Are they they're one of those animals that will switch, right? Don't they have like the... Oh my God, yesterday it was a boy frog. Now it's a girl frog. Oh yeah, these gender reveal parties causing fires. There's not much. I just think it's a little too much focus was placed on the one gender reveal party. It's absurd that they set off a pyrotechnic thing that caused a fire. That's terrible. What's wrong with blue cake? That's fine. But there were like 30 other fires that weren't caused by that were caused by GE and BP and I'm trying to think of other two-word XZ. No, but by the energy company, by the capitalists. Let's be mad about that. The capitalist reveal party fires that are torching people. What are you going to make me go ship some koalas from Australia and burn them so that you will care? Because I will. I should be like a superhero, like a bad guy on The Boys. The Boys season 3 on Amazon. Season 2 is out right now. Or, well, partially. Season 3, I want to be a bad guy superhero, a soup. And my thing will be, I will bring over koala bears and make them burn up in the woods. to try to get you to care. All right, that guy. What the fuck? Thanks for listening. I love you so much. I appreciate all your likes and your attentions and your clicks and your subscribes. I'm hoping to get a woodworking video out within the next week. I was trying to do it this week. I was animating myself flying in a plane, that kind of stuff. Plus, just generalized, ennui and depression and everything else. But kicking off a new health initiative here. I've decided I need to be a hot boyfriend eventually. And I don't want to be the flabby boyfriend. I want to be formerly slightly hard to tell flabby boyfriend. That's the goal. Thanks for listening again. Bye. Be safe. Don't worry. It's all going to get worse. Goodbye.